telefónico. Yo no me lo recuerdo, ¿verdad?
What brought you out today?
Oh my goodness, what has brought us out? Just the policies of this administration that are so inhumane, taking people away who have contributed to our communities for decades, whose children are in our schools, who fill our churches, that I feel like we all have to be out getting angry and making it clear to Trump that this is not acceptable.
So today is an anniversary of the death of John Lewis, one of the civil rights fighters of this country. There is an actions at the national level, so we decided to pick this place. We continue the fight against Avelo and the boycott. Since Avelo continue doing these deportation flights, and we learned a few days ago they are shutting down the West Coast operations, meaning that this campaign is working, so we will continue until we shut them down.
Again, are we ready to get into good trouble? My name is Kika Matos. I work at the National Immigration Law Center. I also live just a few miles away from here. It is so good to be here with all of you in this fight on this particular day. And I want to talk about what this day represents and why we're here. We're here to honor the legacy of Congressman John Lewis. 5 years ago to this day, he passed away. And right before he died, he wrote an essay that was a call to action to all of us. It's almost like he saw 5 years into the distance, saw what was coming, and wrote this to us. And when I read his essay today, I got goosebumps because I thought about the moment we're in. So let me read from this last essay that Congressman John Lewis gave. And let me just say, this is a man who lived his values, who put his body on the line, who fought against segregation, was badly beaten, and up until the end, he still fought the fight for justice in coalition for all of us. The last time I saw Congressman Lewis was in Washington, D.C. We were doing a civil disobedience for immigrant rights. And he put his body on the line and got arrested with us. And he inspired all of us to be just that much braver and to push that much harder. So this is what his last essay asked us to do. When you see something that is not right, he said, you must say something, you must do something. Democracy is not a state, it is an act, and each generation must do its part to help build what we call the beloved community, a nation and world society at peace with itself. If John Lewis were alive today, there's no question in my mind that he would be right here with us, standing with us and urging us to continue to fight and to protect the most vulnerable people in our community. And right now, amongst the most vulnerable are undocumented immigrants who are our neighbors, they're our friends, and they help New Haven be the beautiful city that it is. John Lewis would also call out the need to protect this fragile democracy, and he would be unafraid to target those who profit from the misery of others, and that would include who?
Avelo!
Let's say it louder. It would include who?
Avelo!
In his final essay, Congressman Lewis went on to say that ordinary people with extraordinary vision can redeem the soul of America by getting into what I call good trouble, necessary trouble. Continue to build union between movements, because we must put away our willingness to profit from the exploitation of others. And that is why we are here today.
Yeah!
Right?
Yeah!
Are we ever going to stop fighting for justice?
No!
Are we going to stop the boycott against Avelo?
No!
We are calling out Avelo for profiting from Trump's deeply repulsive and immoral mass deportation agenda. Every day, Avelo Airlines gets immigrants in chains. They put them on seats, vulnerable immigrants, shackled immigrants, and they fly them sometimes to countries that they have never been in before. Are we going to stand for that? Are we going to fight for justice? Se puede. Oh my God, come on, people. Let's try again, se puede. That's the energy. The boycott campaign against Avelo started where? Right, just a few months ago. It is all of you here and brilliant organizers in New Haven who said, oh, hell no, when we learned about what Avelo was planning to do. And guess what? Because of the tenacity and the grit and the courage of New Haven activists, this campaign has now gone national. There are thousands of people all over the country who are joining the fight and turning up the heat. And let me say to you that you should take credit for what I'm about to share, which is that just 2 days ago, Avelo issued a press release saying that they were shutting down their West Coast operations. That is because all of you have been fighting this fight, and I'm going to ask and encourage us to continue to wage this fight. The financial pressure that we're putting on Avelo is being felt, right? And let us remember, and every time we see people who are associated with Avelo, we're going to go up to them and we're going to say, no justice?
No peace!
No justice?
No peace!
No justice?
No peace!
We're going to remind them that until they do justice, there will be no peace for them or for their CEO. That's it for me. I'm emceeing today. I wanted to do a little bit of framing and opening and to welcome you and thank you for being here and ask you to hold Congressman Lewis' values to your heart. Let us continue to do right by him and his legacy, especially over the next 3 years. We have an amazing lineup of speakers today, and I'm going to ask John Lugo from Unidad Latina en Acción to come and say a few words.
Hey, are we ready to scream some chants? Yes! So boycott! 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 I remember when the race happened in 2007 in New Haven, John Lewis sent a message. And that message stayed with me for long time until I had the honor to meet him years later. So the thing that stayed with me, because this is what's happening right now, says, and this is how John Lewis started with his statement in support of the people of New Haven in 2007. And he started with, we know them well by the knock on the door in the middle of the night. Men who hide their faces beneath their white hoods. They came with threats and force. They broke families apart. Men and women were led away, some never to return. Children cry, they will never forget, I will never forget. And that thing stay with me because this is what I see all the time in Connecticut. This is what I see all the time around this country. And I think the thing that I really admired John Lewis is that he was willing to stand up and fight back. Yeah. And this is something that I really admire when I heard that, when I heard his stories about being detained because he was fighting for the right thing. And we're fighting for the right thing in this moment in this country. Yes. Yeah. And that's why we need to be ready to fight back and to stand up and to not allow more people being kidnapped from our communities.
Yeah. Good trouble.
Good trouble. Any kind of trouble, but trouble. Listen, I want to read something that reminds me of John Lewis, and it's by a poet from Nicaragua. Her name is Joconda Belli. Bravo. So back in the 1970s, she was fighting the Somoza regime, and she created a poem called Strike. And the poem says, I want all of us to go on a strike. Let our hands, our legs, our hair go on a strike. Let a strike be in everybody. I want a strike of shops, drivers, doves, of flowers, of technicians, of workers, of children, and of women. I want a strike so wide that even extends to love. I strike where everything stops. The clock, the nurseries, the schools, the factories, the bus, the highway, the business, the doors. A strike of eyes, of hands, and kisses. A strike where bleeding will not be allowed. A strike to issue silence so we can all hear the footsteps of the tyrant as he departs. And basically, years later, Somoza left the country. And this is what we need to do in this country. We need to strike everywhere in this country. The peasants in California, they are calling for a strike, and we need to support them. Thank you very much.
Next up, I'm going to call on someone that I love and respect dearly, Tabitha Subdeo, who heads up Connecticut Students for a Dream. Come on up, Tabitha.
Hi everybody, I'm not as flexible and I won't try to jump up onto the truck, but so good to be here with you all today. So we are standing here purposefully in the spirit of resistance. Avelo is complicit. In other parts of the country, this airline is directly involved in the machinery of deportation, quietly profiting as our neighbors are disappeared. Let's be clear. If you partner with ICE, you are responsible.
Yes.
If you fly our people in shackles, you will be held accountable. If you profit from our trauma, we will meet you with resistance. This moment is about a broader system that targets, criminalizes, and disappears our people. And Black immigrants are deeply affected by this crisis. We have seen in Connecticut and across the nation that Black immigrants, Haitians, Jamaicans, Nigerians, and beyond are likely to be detained and more likely to be deported and less likely to receive fair legal representation. So I ask you, when Black immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up and fight back.
When Black immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up and fight back.
As a Black immigrant myself, I want to speak plainly. This is personal. This is part of rampant human abuses. The late John Lewis called us to make good trouble, and today we honor that call. What kind of trouble?
Good trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Good trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Good trouble.
Right now, the federal government is pouring billions of dollars into federal enforcement. A massive new spending bill just passed what they call the Big Beautiful Bill. But there is nothing beautiful about what is happening. ICE is hiring more agents to detain more people. Bond hearings are being eliminated and trapping our people behind bars. ICE now has access to Medicaid data tracking people by the very programs meant to keep them alive. And immigrant children are being cut from Head Start, their future sacrificed to an agenda of fear. And we say again that we need to get into good trouble. What kind of trouble?
Good trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Good trouble.
The late John Lewis told us that when we see something that is not right, that is not fair, that we have a moral obligation to get in the way. And today, what is not right is tearing children from their parents. What's not right is corporations making money from deportation flights. But we don't fight with fear. We fight it with strategy. We fight it by organizing, and we fight it by organizing and protecting each other. That's why tonight we're calling on our movement to step up and to protect people. We need attorneys, law students, community defenders to join us. by building a statewide legal response system that can support people during detentions, bond hearings, know your rights trainings, and deportation defense. So I have this event here that I'll pass out some flyers, and it's going to be on Sunday, July 20th from 5 to 7. We're going to be hosting a powerful event. It's called You Have Rights, a community conversation for Black immigrants and allies, where we'll talk about what to do when ICE shows up, how to protect your families, and what legal professionals can do. This is going to be a hybrid event, and it doesn't matter if you're not Black, everyone is welcome, but we just want to make sure that we're uplifting our community. And I close by saying that this moment calls for clarity. It calls for courage. So let's go ahead and honor John Lewis, not just with our memories, but with our movement. Let us fight not just for reform, but for our freedom. And let's make sure that no one in our communities ever has to face ICE alone again. Thank you.
Thank you, Tabitha. Next up, he doesn't need to climb up here because he's as tall as I am standing up here. I call on Bishop John Sellers of the United Church of Christ and co-founder of Moral Monday of Connecticut.
Thank you. I appreciate you for not saying what the real deal is. I'm old and fat. That's what it is. Good afternoon, good evening. What should I say? I am glad to be here and tired of being here. Tweed New Haven said, I'm sick and tired of being what? Sick and tired. Yeah, I knew some of y'all knew what that was. John Lewis said this. This is what I believe in. Or this is what we believe in. What I think about, what we all are to think about. A movement of one, or mass movement, must be an irresistible movement of the masses, not just a handful of lawyers in a closed courtroom. We need some lawyers. We need open and closed courtrooms. But we also need hundreds, thousands of everyday, ordinary need and use. Disciplined, peaceful, maybe even loud. Taking their cause and their beliefs to the streets. 23 years old, John Lewis was a speaker that hot August day in Washington, D.C. 2 years later, March 7th, 1965, we call it Bloody Sunday. Hosea Williams, led a march across that Confederate who we don't know other than the bridge that's named after him. This was what he called good trouble, necessary trouble. Congressman Lewis said, it's been already referred to, he said, we've got to stand up and speak out and get in the way. He taught us the importance of speaking up and speaking out. He said we must be willing to speak out against injustice at all times, regardless to what might be the consequences. He said, my grandfather was a person that fought in 2 wars, earned a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, and he taught me from birth to keep my silence is to maybe understand that I'm accepting it. When you see something that's not right, not fair, not just, you have the obligation to speak up. So, I am a preacher. In the Christian tradition, and so there is a parable from the Gospels. For those of you who are mindful of such things, it's the Gospel of Luke. There's a story that is told about a woman who went to see a judge. And she kept going to see that judge because she was advocating for it. She was speaking up about something that was unjust. And while she may have been waylaid, Pamela, while she may have been told that wait is not the right time, while she may have been thrown off her course, she kept going to see that judge, advocating for the same thing each time. The story goes on, the parable, if you will, goes on, and finally the judge said, I'm tired of you, you bothering me too much. What is it that you want? And let me see if we get it done. The moral of the story is, if you just keep on at it, after a while, they get tired of you. And they may see you and see your injustice, at least for the moment. Now, I got a couple other morals to this story. One of the things that enlightens me for the work is that if we keep going, if we keep doing, if we keep getting into good trouble, that not only are we doing the thing that we think is the right thing, but that maybe 2 or 3 other people are here that we're going down there to talk to that judge doing the same thing week after week after week, month after month after month, and that maybe the moral of the story is not just we become a committee of 1, but that we become a committee of 10, and then we become a committee of 100, and then we become a committee of 1,000, and then we become a committee of 10,000. Do you all feel what I'm saying? So, when it comes to mass deportations, we've got to get involved and make some good trouble, for it is necessary trouble. When it comes to a big, bad, ugly, destructive, deadly bill, like the one that passed a few days ago down in Washington, D.C., we've got to get involved and make good trouble, for it is necessary trouble. Y'all see how I'm doing this here? I got a little litany going here. When it comes to standing up for the poor, the disenfranchised, the marginalized, the oppressed, those who are victimized, scrutinized, charged and judged wrongfully, sometimes not even given a court date, we got to get involved and make good trouble, for it is necessary trouble. Somebody got it. When it comes to seeking the welfare of the city, advocating for those who are pushed aside, set aside, disregarded, devalued, deemed not important or not essential, we've got to get involved and make good trouble, for it is necessary trouble. Lastly, this idea of good trouble, some of my colleagues have suggested that he understood some of the teachings of Howard Thurman. Howard Thurman was not an activist on the street, if you will, but for those young Turks that were out there on the line, it is said that Dr. King carried a Bible, a notebook, and Jesus and the Disinherited, a book written by Howard Thurman. That was what was in his briefcase. He kept that in his briefcase. So Dr. Thurman said this. He said, there is something in every one of us that awaits the sound of the genuine. Something inside you that pulls at you, that gnaws at you, that makes you have sleepless nights sometimes. The thing that wakes you up in the morning or you wrestle with deep in the midnight hour, my grandmother would say. And that if you're guided by that thing that is inside you, that is genuine, that sound, if you find that then when you hear other sounds, you won't spend your days at the end of somebody else's string. So I'm calling for us, in the name of Congressman John Lewis, to make some good trouble, for it is
necessary trouble.
Let's give it up for Bishop John Selders. We're going to have some entertainment in just a few minutes. We've got amazing singers, but in the meantime, I want to call up Reverend Josh Pollock, who is a minister of the Universalist Unitarian Society. Let us show him some love.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's great to see you all here. It's great to be here. I greet you in the name of all that is good and holy. I greet you in the name of God, the compassionate, the loving, the merciful. And I greet you in the spirit of the late Congressman John Lewis, whose life and legacy we honor today with this gathering and countless gatherings around the nation. With his spirit alive among us and alive in this country, we make good trouble. So as Kika said, my name is Josh Pollock. I'm the minister at the Unitarian Universalist Society East in Manchester. And for the past half year, I've served as the convener of the Connecticut Faith-Based Immigrant Solidarity Network. This is formerly known as the Connecticut Sanctuary Congregations. This is a collective of between 80 and 100 clergy and other faith leaders across the state who are deeply concerned about what's happening to immigrants in Connecticut and immigrants across the country, and are coming together to be supportive, to be in solidarity, and to fight. And I should add today, to make good trouble. So we are faith leaders from a wide variety of traditions, and on behalf of, we call it FISION, the Connecticut Faith-Based Immigrant Solidarity Network, FISION. On behalf of FISION, I want to express not only our deep sadness and concern, but our moral outrage that Avelo Airlines is working with Immigration and Customs Enforcement to advance an inhumane, unjust, and authoritarian mass deportation process, which at its heart relies on the denial of due process. And I don't care what the president says, and I don't care what the Supreme Court says, and I don't care what Mike Johnson says, I don't care what the Senate says. This is clearly a violation of the Fourth Amendment, did I say the Fourth? The Fifth Amendment and the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. Why? In Avelo's corporate boardroom, is that okay? Why is that okay in Avelo's corporate boardroom? Why is it okay to participate in a process that denies people liberty without due process? It's not okay. It's not okay. So we're here to remind Avelo Airlines, and to remind Tweed New Haven Airport, and to remind everyone involved with whatever the arrangement is between Avelo Airlines and Tweed and New Haven and Connecticut, whatever the arrangements are, we remind you that at the heart of our faith traditions, and truly at the heart of all religion across the planet, at that heart is the call to welcome, support, and love the immigrant, the stranger, the alien, the foreigner. What Avelo Airlines is doing is wrong. It is not okay. And before you say, wait, Josh, every religion, maybe the Christian nationalists can interpret their scripture in a way that says this is okay, but they are wrong too. And I don't really think they count as a religion, quite frankly. So Avelo Airlines, stop profiting off of human rights abuses. Stop the ICE flights. Boycott Avelo. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Reverend Pollock. I'm going to call now on the Connecticut Solidarity Singers to come and entertain us. And while they are gathering, I always read the signs because I know how much love and attention go into making signs. So I'm going to ask you, in the back, no more kidnapping flights. Never ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble. That's a quote from John Lewis. Families belong together. No more deportation flights. There's a quote from Dr. King, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." Stop the raids. We are a nation of immigrants. People are not cargo. Making good trouble, 8647. Good trouble lives on. Fight ignorance, not immigrants. Fascism bad, so maybe let's not do that. Tackle Trump always, chickens out. Stop Avelo ICE deportation flights. ICE out of Connecticut. Avelo, it's time to de-ICE. Just say no to ICE charters. Boycott Avelo, shame on you. There we go. Let's show some love for the people who made those signs. All right, I'm going to turn the mic over now to our singers.
My name is Melinda. We decided to put together the Connecticut Solidarity Singers because we felt like for all the protests and actions that are happening all over our city and state and around the country, that we really want to bring some singing and joy and energy into adding to the energy in the the actions that have been happening and that will happen in the future. So we just have a couple of songs. We're going to try, there's about a dozen of us here, so we're going to sing and we want you to sing along. Right. So everybody will sing who wants to.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around. Turn me around, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching down to freedom land. Gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching till the end of land. Gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching till they understand. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching to protect our land. Okay. It's never turning back. And we'll shout out the lines that you need. Just join us. If you know it, sing with us. If you don't know it, sing with us. Okay. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back, never turning back. Gonna keep on singing loudly. Gonna keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna reach across our borders. Gonna reach across our borders. Reach across our borders. Reach across our borders. Never turning back. truth and justice.
We're gonna fight for truth and justice. Fight for truth and justice. Fight for truth and justice. Never turning back. Never turning back.
That note blowing in the wind?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're depending on you all.
How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? Yes, and how many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Yes, and how many years must a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Yes, and how many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? Yes, and how many years must one man have before he can hear people cry? Yes, and how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
So thank you very much. We just doubled our number of singers who were prepared to sing today because people just came up and wanted to sing. So we're recruiting all of you. And anybody else, we're just an infant organization. We're like 6 weeks old. So if anybody else wants to join or wants to get more information about what we do, we practice twice a month, and then we sing it wherever we can at different kinds of actions and events and whatever. So if you want to do that, please sign up.
I want to ask my friend and neighbor, Dame Weinreb, to come up and say a few words. David's representing the New Haven Federation of Teachers.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Dahlia, can you hear me in the back? Yeah. My name is Dave Weinreb. I am an educator, I am a dad, I am a former Avelo customer, and the descendant of people who survived because of asylum in this country, like many of you here. I'm here today representing my powerful union, the New Haven Federation of Teachers, to call on Avelo to stop all deportation flights. 78 years ago today, my grandfather, Bernie Weinreb, arrived in the United States, a survivor of the Holocaust, a refugee on a ship, a person seeking asylum. His single mother, Clara, had been stolen off the streets of Vilnius, Lithuania by masked men and summarily shot in a field. My niece was named after her, and today is Clara's 4th birthday. As John Lewis shared in 2018, though our foremothers and forefathers all came to this great land in different ships, we are all in the same boat now. Just 2 weeks ago, my student's father was detained by ICE. This student can't reach their dad. His mom is beyond afraid. She wants to keep her kids close to her, safe with her. Every week, New Haven parents are being swept off the streets, wrenched from their children, our children, fear spreading among our communities. Across the spring, children's attendance has plummeted. Students have lost their ability to focus. Students are in need of counseling with counselors that we do not have. And students' parents can't be partnered with because they are not here, because they've been locked away, flown away, gone. Or if they are here, they're scared. Some are hiding. They are afraid that school is no longer safe. They are afraid that school is no longer safe. And Avelo keeps flying their airplanes. Not everywhere. No longer in Burbank, California. No longer in Humboldt, Oregon. The West Coast is resisting, we are resisting, and we are winning. But in Arizona and here in our sanctuary city, despite all the political and local pressure, Avelo takes to the skies, just doing their job, just making money, ignoring the plight of people that they are flying against their will, far from the home that they have chosen. Are we okay with that? No! A few years ago when Avelo came to town, alongside serious environmental health concerns, to be honest, I was so excited to have a convenient airline here in New Haven. I chose to travel. I chose to travel to Puerto Rico with my wife and my 2-year-old Dahlia. And now that Avelo has made the commitment to shackle community members through their contract with ICE, I will no longer support this airline. I call on everyone listening to no longer support this airline. Until they are no longer supporting Immigration and Customs Enforcement, we will not support this airline. Now, Avelo broadcasts some corporate values, but we're going to take a pop quiz just to check in on what you know. Feel free to boo as appropriate. Question 1, true or false? Avelo prioritizes safety always. True or false? False. Avelo is actively and deliberately making people less safe. Question 2, true or false? Avelo is affordable, reliable, and convenient. It's false. The cost is too high to focus solely on finances, and it's breaking families apart. Question 3, true or false? Avelo is doing the right thing. False. We're not going to qualify that. Well, guess what, Avelo? You are failing. Now, folks in the crowd, you may remember Robert Fulgham's book, All I Really Needed to Know, I Learned in Kindergarten. Have you heard of that book? Yeah. It's full of messages that I share with my 2 children, like, for instance, share everything. Put things back where you found them. Clean up your mess. Say you're sorry when you hurt somebody. Avelo, you are failing kindergarten. But there is always a chance to listen, to adjust your flight pattern, to repair, to discard greed, to choose humanity, to keep people safe. Repeat after me. Avelo, say you're sorry. Avelo, clean up your mess. Avelo, stop flying deportations. As you all know, there are young people in the city that are full of resilience and purpose, who I have had the privilege of teaching. The day after Trump was elected the first time, my brilliant 6th grade newcomer showed up miserable to school. That morning, we cried together at our beloved circular wooden table in the back of the classroom. We worried and we wondered, and soon after that, we went to gym. I spent the gym hour spinning, wondering how we'd spend the rest of the day. I went to pick up the students from gym, and Lizbeth, who is forever my line leader, says to me, Mr. Weinreb, I need you to fix your face. My mom tells me this is how the world is, this is how it's always been. There are bad people, and we will do what we can to survive. So can we please go upstairs and learn some math? Can we dive deeper into how to divide fractions? Lizbeth, at age 12, having fled Guatemala with her mom just weeks before entering my Fairhaven school classroom, had too much wisdom and too much pain and too much empathy, and also she saw the opening for survival, for action, for forward motion, for teaching and for learning. It's sad. I took Lizbeth and her class here to this airport 8 years ago, before Avelo was even on the scene, on a field trip. I wanted to introduce them to varied jobs, career pathways. I wanted them to understand that there are resources in New Haven. I wanted them to know that this was their city. People wanted to know them, work with them, and keep them safe. Avelo, you are failing. You are failing Lizbeth and her classmates. You are failing to keep people safe. You're failing the basic lessons that we teach our children. Friends, repeat after me. Avelo, say you're sorry. Avelo, clean up your mess. And Avelo, stop flying deportations. The New Haven Federation of Teachers is calling on Avelo the company, Avelo staff, Avelo customers, Avelo anybody to get into some necessary trouble. See the ways in which we are all in the same boat. Find a way to subvert, say you are sorry, change your mind, stop all deportations, just say no. Remember what you learned in kindergarten, and again to quote John Lewis, get in good trouble, necessary trouble, and help redeem the soul of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. And to close us out, a powerful, passionate advocate, New Haven's Registrar of Voters. Let's give it up for Chanel Evans. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good trouble, everyone. Necessary trouble, everyone. I want to say thank you guys for coming out to support this wonderful occasion on keeping people here. I also want to thank Charlotte for the invitation as well. She always tries to include me because one of the things I do believe in is voting. Yes. We also know not only did Congressman fight for ICE, against ICE, but he also fought for us to vote. Yes. Do not take voting for granted, especially us of color, because it took us so long with so many trials and tribulations to get a fair voting access. I won't be before you long, I promise. Today I will briefly speak about the fundamental of our democracy, the power of your vote. Voting is not just a right, it is a responsibility. It is how you choose your leaders, shape your laws, and hold power accountable. Every vote is a voice. Every voice matters, especially in the times of our rights when they are being debated, where freedoms are challenged, and our future is at stake. Elections matter, and as you can see, they have its consequences. At this moment, it's not just enough to commit voting, but you also must commit in bringing people with you to the polls to make sure they vote as well. Because I am a strong believer that teamwork makes the dream work. Rallies and actions matter. That's why you guys are all here. But voting is an act that decides who makes these decisions. Right now, voting is a fundamental act that protects democracy. If you have doubt in the power of voting, I ask that you ask yourself, well, why did so many have to fight so hard just to win this right? Generations of Americans, particularly people of color, fought and bled for the ballot. They then won the landmark legislation through the power of voting. One of those heroes is Congressman John Lewis, a civil rights icon who nearly lost his life fighting for voting rights. In his honor, the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act was introduced to restore, strengthen, and protection of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. This bill aims to prevent voters' suppression, ensure fair access to the ballot, and to stop discrimination practices in the elections. So, if you ever wonder whether your vote counts, it does. And right now, using the vote is one of the most powerful ways to honor the sacrifices that those who came before us and those to protect the rights of who will come after us. Let's not be silent. Let's not sit out. Let's stand up. Let's show up. And let us vote. On that note, I do want to give information that there is a possible election primary on September 9th, and the general will be held on November 4th. Your voice matters. Meet your neighbor at the polls and do your ballots. This may not be a federal and state election, but you need to know how important it is for just your local alders, co-chairs, mayor, town clerk, registrar of voters. We are your direct access that fight for you to send it up the chain of command. Thank you, Chanel. Thank you to everybody for showing up. We are winning this fight, remember that? And I want to close us out by reading the final paragraph of John Lewis's final essay. And it's directed once again at all of us here today. When historians pick up their pens to write the story of the 21st century, let them say that it was your generation who laid down the heavy burdens of hate at last, and that peace finally triumphed over violence, aggression, and war. So I say to you, walk with the wind, brothers and sisters, and let the spirit of peace and the power of everlasting love be your guide. Walk with the wind indeed. Thank you. God bless.